Hello, people of YouTube. This is Gray's Guitars. I am Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today, we're going to be talking about a story that is kind of blowing up everywhere, and that is Marshall amps sold to Swedish speaker company, bringing an end to family ownership. So the iconic UK amp brand used by everyone from Jimi Hendrix to AC/DC is changing hands. And if you don't know those names, that's probably because you were born in the year 2000 or newer, and you listen to more modern music and probably aren't watching my channel anyway. So the iconic British guitar amp manufacturer Marshall Amps is being acquired by Swedish firm Zound Industries, the company that currently produces Marshall headphone speakers under license from the amp brand. So they actually are already working with these people. So now they're, being that Zound's bought them out, they are no longer going to have a licensing agreement. They will be able to just produce the products, put the Marshall name on it that they've already been doing, and then, they get 100% of the profits. They don't have to have a middleman, essentially. According to Zound CEO Jeremy D. Mallard, the two firms will now sit under a new privately owned umbrella company, the Marshall Group, with the Marshall family owning a 24% stake in the new company. So they're still going to own a percentage of the company, but no longer the controlling percentage. The value of the deal has not been revealed. The Verge is reporting it includes all of Marshall's subsidiary brands, including its record label and Natal drums. I didn't even know Marshall owned drums. And that there are no plans to close or ship production away from Marshall Amps' existing UK and Vietnam factories. So they're going to still make the Marshall amp. So basically they're just, going to keep doing what they're doing, what they've been doing. We've already been working in close collaboration for the past 12 years. In an interview with The Verge, we haven't done a single product from Zound that hasn't been approved by the acoustic engineer at Marshall Amps. It's a complete continuation of what we do, except now we're one and the same. Terry Marshall, son of the firm's founder, Jim Marshall, has also issued a statement. Fun fact, Jim and Terry Marshall's initials determined the model name for the Marshall's iconic JTM-45, the amp that pretty much defined rock music. Since my father and I created the original Marshall amps back in 1962, we have always looked for ways to deliver a pioneering Marshall sound to music lovers of all backgrounds and music taste across the world, says Marshall. I'm confident that Marshall Groups will elevate this mission and spur the love for the Marshall brand. D. Mallard also reveals in his interview that 90% of Zound's sales currently come from Marshall brand products, and says he wanted to focus on ensuring the two sides of the newly formed Marshall Group work together more historically. Exactly what that means for the guitarist remains to be seen, but the storied amp maker has made very few product announcements in recent years, with notable exemptions of the vintage reissue pedals, which were leaked and subjected to a somewhat confusing debate. The merger may also have advantages in enabling the often heritage-focused Marshall to compete with more tech-savvy home practice brands, such as Positive Grid, for example, producing more equipment that caters to both guitar and amps from home audio purposes. So like plugins, essentially. Maybe make their own like Helix or something. Fingers crossed on them. This provides to be good news for the iconic brand. Marshall Amps celebrates its 60th anniversary in 2022, at which point Guitarist Magazine documented 20 milestone moments with Marshall's 60-year quest for bigger, badder tone. Looks like 2023 will hail another milestone. So I don't really think this is a big deal. I feel like some people are kind of like freaking out over it. The reality of it is, I feel like Marshalls are catered more to the boomer generation. You see more modern guitarists going for all the plugins, helixes, things that basically they're plugging their guitar into their laptop, they're simulating whatever amp sims they want, whatever amp cabs they want, and then you're good to go. Yes, there are still people buying tube amps that play primarily tube amps, such as yours truly. I don't have any of the. I have a Line 6 Pod GX. That is the only innovation I have with plugging a guitar into the computer. And the only reason I even bought that thing was because when I was going away to college, I didn't want to piss off all of the roommates surrounding me. So you plug in headphones to it. You click on the Smells Like Teen Spirit tone, I think was my go-to in the settings, and I just played and listened to it through my crappy Dollar Tree headphones. But yeah, I mean, I personally still use tube amps. I love Marshall. Marshall was my first half stack. So my first half stack that I had was a Marshall AVT 50. 50 watt, valve solid state combo type deal with the matching cabinet. I didn't know what tube amps were back then when I first bought it. I just thought a guitar amp was a guitar amp. So actually, I traded that for a TV. I then sold that TV, and then I bought a MG full stack, which a lot of people hate on the MG series. A lot of people also hate on the Valve State series. Like, oh, they're not real Marshalls, blah blah blah. They don't sound like a Marshall. But I played through that thing for many years. Before getting my first tube head and selling all of that and buying a PV6505 Plus, and then getting my current 4x12 cabinet with my it's a carbon 400 watt cabinet. So pretty much, the main reason I bought it wasn't because of the speakers, it was because of the wattage. I was like, if I ever want to buy more amp heads, there's really no amp head that I can buy that this 400 watt cabinet will not be able to support. And then it also came with a broken tube head when I bought the speakers too. But if we go over to the Marshall website, a lot of this they've kind of turned into like a lifestyle brand in recent years. I see, they got beers, they got speakers, headphones. I didn't even know they had sunglasses. Apparently, they hooked up a motorcycle. They have a fridge, a jack rack, for like your keys and stuff. I always thought this was pretty cool. I never bought one of those. They have a jukebox, apparently. They have gin. So in recent years, yes, they were still selling amps to the diehard fans. Ouch, $50 for a keychain rack. Anyway, it's Marshall. What are you gonna do? But in recent years, that's what I've been seeing. I haven't seen anything like amp related per se. Everything that I have been seeing was all more of that lifestyle brand. Um, and a lot of people will buy the smaller ones for like practice amps and stuff. You got the Micro, the MG Gold, the JBM, hand wired, vintage reissues, acoustic, the Code series, which is kind of like a Boss Katana, the DSL, Origin. Let's take a look on the JCMs. How much are these bad boys going for now? There's different models of the JCM too. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked into Marshall amps because they've been at a price point where I just didn't want to buy them. Where I was like, well, if I could spend this much money on one amp head, or maybe versus buying a couple of smaller solid states or something, or maybe I can save up and buy one of these or a plug-in. But I do like Marshall, but not enough to spend, 2-3 grand on a head. I'd rather have a $3,000 guitar than a $3,000 amp. That's just kind of my preference anyway. I have no issues with my PV. And I think I have a couple of pedals that emulate the Marshall sound anyway through the clean channel. So it worked for me. It works for me. But I mean, Marshall will always kind of have that little special place in my heart. Being that it was the first big boy amp I ever bought. I literally went from because I got a really good deal on that AVT half stack. I think I got the whole thing for like $200 or $300. It might have been. I could have sworn it was $200. You're talking at this point. I bought that thing like over 10 years ago, I want to say, and then I had it for 4 or 5 years before I did the whole sell trade deal. But I had that thing for quite a while, and I learned a lot of songs through it. And it was a Marshall and my Epiphone Les Paul. That was the combo I was rocking for a long time. But I don't think you have anything to worry about here. If anything, it might get better. You might get some more fancy innovations or something. You might have more, like, okay, here's a bunch of amp plugins. Okay, here's our own take on the Helix. Something along those lines, where it's catering more to the modern guitarist. And they're not going to get rid of the stacks. You're always going to be able to find a used Marshall. You're always going to be able to find a used cabinet. I can find, used cabinets all day. You can easily buy an MG series cabinet for a 4x12 for like $150, a used one, And a lot of people don't necessarily like them, but the point is, there's a bunch of them. They've been making the same things for years and years and years. And if you're willing to wait a little bit, one will pop up on your local Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever you're using these days, and you'll be able to find it for a halfway decent price. But there you have it. hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, comment what you want to see for future guitar and music-related videos. There's some new Squires that came out too, but I think I'll save that for another video. I might have to buy one of them. They're a really good price, but that's all she wrote for today. So have a good one. Yet again, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.